Haven't seen you in a while.
A couple weeks.
Quick reminder before we get started, if you haven't downloaded your parking passes, those should have been sent out last week, so just a reminder to download those. Tom Brands.
Tom, it's been a while. How you doing?
Great, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Well, I guess let's start with last week on Wednesday. The NCAA has that ruling. I guess just your thoughts on what the final kind of decision was from them.
The questions that are being asked should be different. The questions being asked should be talked about why was University of Iowa and Iowa State targeted only. The leadership of the NCAA is on record as saying there is a nationwide campus epidemic with sports wagering, men's athletes, 56%. No one's asking the question, why was the Department of Justice in the state of Iowa targeting Iowa State University and the University of Iowa? No one has asked that question. And walk in the door last night in my home. And my wife, she says, she's moving all the time, move. She says, hey, I see the guys that suspended for gambling, I see they get to compete in open tournaments. And I tell you what, I've been married for 23 years, and I'm like, that is not the point. And I say I've been married for 23 years because I had to really that's the most irrelevant conversation that I've ever had with my wife. And what I said to her is the question that should be asked isn't these superficial questions. Why the University of Iowa? Why Iowa State University? Why? Okay, so start there. Okay, now let's go to the NCAA leadership. All right, they are on record. There are epidemics on campuses, in their athletic departments, on sports wagering. It is a problem. So we have to modernize the penalty. And so what happens is because the NCAA leadership is spoken, and because the membership doesn't get along with the leadership, they just go the opposite way. Or, oh, well, we listened and we modernized. We went from a permanent ban to a one-year ban. A one-year ban on a penalty changed from something that is a nationwide epidemic. These guys, they didn't lie. They didn't cheat. They did nothing illegal. A 21-year-old can gamble. A 21-year-old is a junior in college. A one-year ban is a death sentence most of the time. So you ask me a question about how it goes. It's the wrong question. You're asking the wrong guy. No one is asking the right questions. No one. And are we afraid that if we roll through a stop sign, the Department of Justice is going to have somebody on our tail if we talk like this? You know what? It's time to bring attention to that it was Iowa State University and the University of Iowa, and it was targeted unfairly and maybe illegally. Maybe. And those questions aren't being asked, and you are to blame also. The people in this room are to blame because we want to talk about, these guys, yeah. You think Kobe Seabrook wants to wrestle in the Luther Open? Yeah, he wants to wrestle in the Luther Open when he's getting ready for the doggone Oregon State duel. It's not a consolation prize. It's not what it's about. It's about an injustice. These guys knew what they were doing is wrong. Well, why did you do it then? Because it's everywhere. Didn't even think about it. I am not absolving them of responsibility or accountability. I am not doing that. But what I am saying is you are asking the wrong questions to the wrong guy about sports wagering. Because Iowa State University and the University of Iowa were unfairly targeted. And I started to talk about the membership. All right, well, what's that got to do with anything? Well, the membership's at odds with the NCAA leadership. And so who's the membership? Well, who are these committees comprised of? They're comprised of ADs and presidents and compliance people and senior associate ADs and deputy directors and senior women administrators. That's what these committees are comprised of. And the thing is no one has been on record as saying, hey, wait a minute here. This was University of Iowa and Iowa State University only. Only. And by the way, our leadership is on record as saying, President Baker, we have a problem. We have to modernize. But no, they don't say that. Because it's gridlock politics. And so we're going to make it difficult. I wonder if we would be in a better place if the NCAA leadership would have said, hey, we don't have a problem. We don't need to modernize. What would those appellate hearings, would they come back to go against for more, just to, to fight the constituency? And that's what they're doing. They're fighting amongst themselves. It's gridlock politics. So what's my point? Well, you control what you can control. You go forward. But it has to be said. There has to be someone talking straight and going to the defense in the core question that isn't being asked. And that athletic director that is on that committee that's making that decision doesn't happen to my campus. Doesn't happen to my campus. The NCAA leadership is on record as saying 56% of athletes gamble in athletic departments across the country. 56%. They're not dumb people. They're not dumb. And those committee members, man, they're sitting there. They're going, not me, not a problem at my place. Not me, man. Ames, Iowa, Iowa City, Iowa. Sorry, man. Thanks. Appreciate everything, man. What other questions you got? Let's talk about Oregon State. Well, we have Ayala listed. We have 133, Teskey. Jace Rhodes listed. We have Rio Woods. We have 149, Voinovich. We'll be sending some guys to Lindenwood Open. It's important that we compete. Rachi will be going. That's why after 149, he's another 49-pounder that's in the mix. 57, Franek. 65, Caliendo. 74. It's not the guy in the poster. It's not going to be the guy in the poster. It's going to be either Gabe Arnold or Aiden Riggins. 84, Brendan Swafford. 97, Zach Glazier. And heavyweight won't be the guy in the poster. 84 won't be the guy in the poster. Heavyweight will be Hill. And we're fired up to get in front of our fans in Carver Hawkeye Arena. It's our home opener. And it's noon Sunday. And we're sold out. We're sold out.
What's Brendan Swafford done did to really improve here in the last year that you really like?
Well, he's a journeyman. He's been here. He transferred here. He wanted to wrestle Division I. He's a Hawkeye. He's in the twilight of his academic career. He doesn't have to be here this year, and he is here, and he's sitting right behind you, and he can answer those questions as well. But all those things are great characteristics and someone that you want in your wrestling room, making you better, making the people around you better. But that's secondary because he is here because he comes from a wrestling family, probably undersold himself going to a smaller school, and that's not to say that his career and his accolades aren't distinguished, which they are. but he's given it his all. And he's throwing his hat in the ring in the Division I circus, and we love Brennan Swafford as a Hawkeye.
You mentioned guys not on the poster a little bit. There's, with those guys currently, those four, are they at this point with the eligibility status of those four? Are you looking at, could they come back next year? I know Terry had said there's two guys who are still
You're
voting.
asking the wrong questions. I'll go through 20 minutes again, exactly what my answer is not going to be what you want me to say. No one's asking the right questions to the right people. You're asking the wrong questions to the wrong people. And I'm not even hot. I'm not hot under the collar. I'm seeing very clear. My temper is intact. What was the Department of Justice doing in the state of Iowa to target Iowa State and the University of Iowa athletes? What were they doing? I don't know who to ask. You're the media. It's a sports story. You're sports media. Ask the questions. We love all our guys. No one has quit. In fact, we got 2 appeals left. No one's quit. We haven't quit. Early May we found out. We didn't quit then. We didn't give up. We didn't hope for the best. We went out and recruited some freaking awesome transfers that make us better. We never quit. We went on to the next thing. And we didn't quit on our guys either. And our administration has been awesome. And I have to say that. Because it sounds like I'm bitter with someone. I'm not bitter. Quit asking me dadgum questions about freaking gambling bullshit going on in our wrestling room. Because you're asking the wrong questions to the wrong guy. Not answering them.
What have you seen from Gabe Arnold since he's...
Gabe Arnold is an awesome teammate. He's an awesome personality. He makes me smile when I think of him. Awesome family. He is a wrestling royalty family, but don't tell him that. He knows he has to earn it. He is first cousins to Jaden Cox, who's an Olympic medalist and a ×2 and a world champion wrestler. So Gabe Arnold wants to cut his own teeth, but he comes from great wrestling people, and we are really, really glad that he's a Hawkeye as well. So we're going to see what happens. This rule, this freshman rule, really, really helps us. And I think I'm on record as saying that I didn't like it a year ago when it first came out, but I think it's great. And it's especially great when, you don't have a 74-pounder anymore. So now you got a freshman redshirted last year, Riggins, and you got a true freshman at 174. And so we can really, really see what we got with that true freshman with these rules. And we love Aiden Riggins too. We love Aiden Riggins too. And we just got to keep going. It's early. We got to keep developing. We got to keep figuring out who our best personnel are at each weight class. And by March, we're going to put the best team on the mat.
How's Brody getting along after the Luther Open? Saw he dropped out a little early.
Right decision. It's a little bit harder to do that now with the rule where the first medical forfeit is a loss on your record. His guy is a non-Division I wrestler, so, we'll see how that affects him. It shouldn't affect him bad, but you do the right thing anyway. Whatever the rule says, you do the right thing by, what your future looks like, what you're coming up with on your schedule, and, his personal path as well. And it's not something where it's, determined ahead of time necessarily, but he has missed time in the past. And I'm not just talking about last year when he was at Iowa, but Every year he's had kind of the same deal go on. When he was at Penn State, he missed some time with the same deal that he missed time last year, and when he was at UNI, he missed time on the same deal that he missed time last year. And we want to make doggone sure that we have him healthy. Critical. It's critical.
The guy like Victor too, in his couple performances so far from Oklahoma State, listed as an or this week. What have you thought about his performances so far?
We got to pick it up a little bit in the pace. It's early. He's unbelievable student. He is a respectful fellow, and he's also conscientious. So the things that make great athletes better, and you get that little extra, he's doing that. He needs to put some pop into it though a little bit. You know, that explosive wrestling that you can't really coach, but that is a key ingredient in the best in the world. He has to put that into his wrestling.
One more question?
What do you see out of Oregon State? What do they kind of bring to the table coming here on Sunday?
Scrappy. They hung in there at North Carolina. They had some wins in a tournament out there as well, where they knocked off some guys. We got to be ready. I think everybody is well coached, but Coach Pendleton there is, I think, in his second year maybe, no more than 3. I know that he's an energy guy, and I know that we got to be ready to go. And I know that he was supposed to come here last year, and he had some travel issues, and that's when we got Army to step up. And maybe that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. Time flies. And then that's why we went to Army last year, and we were trying to get on the schedule again a year ago with Oregon State. But 2 years later, here we are. They're coming to town, and we'll make a return visit to them next year. We got to be ready to go. I know that. Thanks. Caliendo, Swafford.